Hey guys, it's me, Wilson, and we're back for another video on F1 22. We're here for round 9 of PSGL Season 33. I always forget that. It seems like my intro is the same every time. But yeah, we're here for round 9. We're here at Mexico. And yeah, so going into this race, it was actually meant to be Portimao heading into round 9. But apparently there's potholes on it, which I wasn't complaining about because before this race I hadn't practiced. I was at McLaren for a day, and then the days before that I was just out doing things, and then yeah, just not practicing as we get a big snap there on our outlap. So yeah, I wasn't too bothered. It pretty much means we got told that it was going to be Mexico on Tuesday morning, I think it was. So we had about a day or two, day and a half or so notice of what the track is. So this is going to be an interesting race. Hopefully it shows that we don't need hundreds of hours of practice for a race. We usually don't do too much practice for these races anyway. It's the end of the game. We don't really care too much now. It's just more of a bit of fun. Also, it's nice to get a good result, but I am competitive, so I always want to win whatever I'm doing. I'm sure everyone else is the same, but nevertheless, we're starting our first run in Q1. I went with a really interesting setup for this race. I took a lot of wing off the car. I was really quick with my original setup, which was not high wing, but it wasn't exactly low. So yeah, I took as much wing off as I comfortably could, and yeah, it felt interesting in quali. I wasn't really comfortable with it. I was actually slower in these wings in quali, but I wanted to keep it for the race, as we do a 2 split, which isn't great. And you can see we're getting a lot of understeer through these corners. You're going to hear me complaining. Let's go through this corner, and it's just a lot of understeer throughout this lap. And it was at this point I realised we might have made a little bit of a mistake. I knew it was going to be hard to drive as we have a big snap there and have to back out. And we now go for a second run on the same set of tyres. And yeah, at this point I was I'm complaining, as you can hear, telling this car to get out of the way. It was quite annoying, a car just sitting in front of you. It is fairly distracting as we cut turn 1 and 2, and
I'm such a twat.
you can see I'm not very happy with myself. So that means we've got 2 more runs max now. We're P19 in Q1. It wouldn't be ideal if we get knocked out in Q1. We definitely have the pace to get through easily. We should have got through on our first set easily. But yeah, again, the car just did not feel good compared to what it felt like in practice. Don't get me wrong, the car didn't feel great in practice, especially in quali, but it felt really bad here. I had a lot of understeer. Placebo or not, it just didn't feel great. And we come out of turn 1 and 2, just matching our delta. It will be up on the delta as it glitches a little bit. Now coming to the end of our lap. Last sector's a 0.0 split, which is not great, but at this point I was really trying to take it safe, and this last sector's also been scruffy. We missed that apex, and it's just been really not a good first qualifying session for us. It's really been all over the place, and we come up to the line. That's going to place us P9 only. We do see ourselves safely through, but yeah, really not a good Q1. We should be expecting to get through on 1 run easily. We had the pace to get through in 1 run easily, but yeah, I'm not too sure. Not too sure what we're doing there. So let's see if we can change the momentum now and into Q2. This is our old set of tyres we're using right now. We're usually fairly good on an old set of tyres as we come up to the line. It's only a 0.6, so I think there was an issue here with my tyres, because I remember in practice I could do like 0.1s, 0.2s, 0.3s on old tyres, and then that lap didn't feel that bad and it was miles off. So I think my tyres must have been more worn or something like that at least. But yeah, doesn't matter anyway. You're never going to get through in that type of lap, just for a delta really. But now we start our first proper run in Q2, a new set of soft compound tyres as we head into the middle sector now. Through this section, it's a little bit unrealistic in this game. You can pretty much get close to taking it flat depending on your wings, as we miss an apex a little bit there. Would ideally want to be a little bit tighter as we pass a Mercedes, and it's a 0.806 split, so not a bad split. If we do a good last here, it could be a 0.7, which I think could see us safely through. So let's see what we do. Coming around the final section of this track, we get a lot of understeer there. And again, just really not feeling this car in qualifying. I set it up for the race, as I said, and yeah, just not how I liked it. 10th off Otis, 8.3. That might see us through, but I thought it would see us safely through. But our engineers told us to go out again, and I'm not going to say no because then I look a bit stupid. So we do go out again. My gut was telling me we were safe through as we go extremely deep here, as we try and get the exit through the stadium section. I had a lot of understeer again at the final corner. Lost a lot of time there, but that is us through a 7.5. And yeah, let's see if our lap before would have seen us through it. You can't see it, but we done an 8.3 and we would have been P8. So yeah, it's quite annoying that. My gut was telling me we would have been through. But yeah, I guess that's what happens. You've got to do these things sometimes, and I feel like I've been a little bit too safe with a lot of cut-offs recently, and yeah, it's just a shame, but it's what it is. These things happen. We're now heading to Q3 with only one set of fresh tyres, which is, yeah, it's just really stupid for me. I'm really disappointed with how I drove in quali here. I knew I was struggling with the setup, but still, it's really no excuse to be like this. But now we're finishing our old set in Q3, and this lap could prove to be crucial, and I'll tell you that later on. But coming around the final sector now, you can see these tyres just don't have the grip compared to new tyres. They're just a little bit more sluggish. I have to be a little bit more careful on the throttle. We do get the front end in that time though, and we come around the final corner. What's it going to be? A 0.08. That's 6/10 quicker than our previous used tyre run in Q2. But now this is crunch time. We're going to be going out on a new set of soft tyres. We've got 1 lap, 2 laps if we've left enough time for it. But yeah, this is crunch time. This is where the money's made, and this is the lap where we're going to really be feeling the pressure, especially at turn 1 and 2, or turn 2 and 3, where you really need to cut those corners. So let's see what we can do. We have left it enough time to go again, just in case. I wasn't feeling confident, so I knew I would leave a little bit of extra time. Some drivers haven't, but I've opted for that decision. So now, rattling down to turn 1, we're hitting tremendous top speed here, especially with our straight line speed, slamming onto the brakes, down to 3rd gear for stability, up to 4th. Can we cut the chicane nicely? Get it, not very nicely done there, and have a big slide, and it was not a great turn 1-2. I do continue for this next part to see if we can maybe salvage anything back, but it's a 1-6 split, and we go deep and back out immediately. So now, the pressure is very much on. We've got 1 more run in this whole qualifying session to nail it. It's also on 4 or 5% worn tyres. So this is going to be a really tricky lap. This is not a place where you want to have worn tyres and only 1 run left. So the pressure is really on now. The heart is beating. We're going to have to nail this one, or we're going to be starting P10 most likely. So slamming onto the brakes into turn 1, down to 3rd gear, up to 4th again. And we get this net better hooked up through their 4th gear, and then really getting a drive out of turn 1, a 10th up now. That was much better than the previous run. Heading into the sector 2 split, it's a 0.5 split, very nicely done from us. 3rd gear, rotating the car nicely up to 4th on exit, and that's been a fairly tidy section. Do this double right-hander, we get the front end tucked in, and it's been the cleanest lap we've had all qualifying session. It's finally coming together at the right time. We fling it into the left-hander, could have been a bit more tight, but we've carried good speed now through this X section, really flinging it through these corners, getting tight up to the curves. We're 3.5 up now with time in the last. It's a 5-5 split. It's looking like this could be a good lap, but we miss this corner. We've had a screen freeze. People are joining and leaving the session. We also go deep here, and other screen freeze. We've got people leaving. We've had a slide as well. Now going through the last corner, we've barely even gained time compared to our old tyres. Only a 10th in that last sector. And
what is everyone doing, man? I can't fucking focus because everyone's leaving and joining. I'm getting screen freezes. Like, fuck off.
So do I, man.
And yeah, pretty much the lobby blew up. I had a huge screen freeze. We're on for what, like a low 5, high 4 maybe? Which would have been what, top 4 at least. I don't know whereabouts, maybe P3, possibly P2. So we're actually on for a really good lap. But yeah, we had huge screen freezes, and pretty much everyone else had the same, apart from a few people who'd done their lap earlier. And
I'm going to do 0.
PSGL chose the decision to take the first runs in qualifying. And if you remember, the first run I done in qualifying was a 15-0 on an old set of tyres. And that placed us P4 provisionally. So that means we are starting P4. And to be honest with you, I don't really think it's unfair, because we probably would have been there without the amount of chaos we had in that last sector. You can see how much we were all over the place. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. We've got Barry in pole, Mirko in P2, F2 driver, also a Challengers driver, and Jake in front of us with Matthias and Max behind us. Max whistle on the soft, so keep an eye on that. We've got 5 red lights. And away we go for the Mexican Grand Prix. Do we get a good launch compared to our cars around us? We get a great launch compared to Mirko Soriano. We're trying to tuck into the slipstream of Barry and Jake Benham. Again, we have a really good straight line speed, and that is proving crucial through down to this turn 1. We clip Jake Benham a little bit in the run down to turn 1. We're going to try and go round the outside, but we think better of it, just cutting back a little bit. Jake's lagging about. We have a little bit of a lag bubble there, as Jake is really not having a great time with his internet. We've got Max Whistle just right behind us on a set of soft tyres. He's going to be very aggressive on these early stages of the race as we go through the middle sector now, and just trying to catch into rhythm as Jake again having really bad desync. And now we're just trying to settle into rhythm here. We're probably going to have Max Whistle all over us, to be honest, and yeah, not much we can do about Max. We're just going to let him go as soon as he can get to us. He's about a 10th behind. You can just see the amount of grip he has compared to us. It's crazy, and I don't think he actually meant to choose soft tyres. I think it was a game bug, or maybe he just didn't select it, as Jake's having a lag spike again. And you can see Max goes for it. I was expecting this, so I just broke a little bit more, took a wider entry, and let him by. Just fighting that just loses you time. And yeah, we let him by. We've now got Mirko behind us. And yeah, we move on to lap 8, a fair amount further onto the race. Max Whistle pits, and this actually means that Jake Benham is out of DRS for the time being. He might be able to get back into it as Barry doesn't have DRS, but this could be crucial in the fight for the win for me and Jake. And you can see we move on to lap 9, and Jake still not in the DRS, so that's good for us, bad for Jake, good for Barry. I guess it's bad in a sense for the race win. But yeah, I can't remember if we were really doing good pace at the moment. I can't really remember, to be honest. But yeah, now we're just trying to save battery. We've got a lot of top speed. If you can see the delta on the top left, we're just gaining on the straights all the time compared to the cars around us. And this was the setup working very nicely for us. And yeah, you can see just cruising at this point. We're trying to save the tyres. The plan was at this time just to sit behind Jake, lifting close. If you look at the throttle going down these straights, we're lifting a little bit, just trying to save ERS, a little bit of fuel as well. I wasn't too sure if the fuel would be enough heading into this race. So you can see Mirko, he's dropped about 8 tenths or so back, 7.5. So pace isn't awful, but Barry is looking very quick right now. And yeah, as I said, we're just trying to save battery. So the plan was sit behind Jake, save as much tyres and battery as we can. And then when Mirko or someone behind us pits, we'll push really hard as we lift and coast again, just proving how much we are. We'll push really hard and try and defend with that. If we can just pass Jake, you get 2 DRS straight, so we'll be able to gain about a second if we do this plan. So I was confident if anyone pit behind us, we were not going to get undercut. And yeah, that was pretty much the plan. And you see that whole lap there, just taking it very easy. Again, we're lifting on the straight again, trying to save battery, trying everything we can to save as much as possible. And I'm sure Jake was aware of this. At the time, I thought he might be a little bit frustrated I wasn't passing him to pass Barry. But if I passed to just try and catch up to Barry, I couldn't see it really working. We might have got close, but Barry was really quick. And if we destroyed our old battery just to get into it, I just couldn't see it happening, and at this point it's way too late to commit to that. And yeah, just not what I didn't think. Trying to pass Jake and push as hard as we can to catch was a good idea. So we chose to stay in the fight for P2, and Moving on to lap 18 now. We're going to size up a move on Jake. My engineer, I think, told me just before this last sector that he thinks Mirko is going to pit, and yeah, you can see he's closed up a lot, so that's usually a sign that he's going to pit, and you can hear them, they're saying he's pit. So now this is time to execute the strategy we've been planning all race. We're using a lot of that battery that we've been saving up all race stint, and you can see we passed Jake fairly easily going down to turn 1. He's not going to try and defend it, and I knew at this point Jake is going to go for an overcut. And you can see the beauty about this track: if you're behind and pass, you get DRS for this next straight. So hopefully this works fairly well. We're going to try and pull about an 8 to 7/10 gap in Jake, and that should see us extremely safe from an undercut from Mirko. And we come into the last sector, and yeah, about 7/10 coming into the last corner now, and we're going to pit for a set of medium compound tyres. So yeah, I was pretty confident that this could work. I think a few people expected Mirko to undercut me, but honestly, if he undercut me with that, overtaking Jake and pulling a 7/10 gap and using battery, I would have been like, he's just done the best outlap of his life. So you can see him in the bottom left. Is he going to be able to undercut? As we were coming out of the pit, sliding on these cold medium tyres, 70 degrees they are, and you can see he's a second back, so that's worked beautifully for us. And now we've got fresher tyres compared to him, but the only issue is the cars around us, Jake, Thomas, I think one more possibly, Alvaro maybe, they've all went 1 lap longer, and we're now moving on to lap 19, which is a lap after, or this is the lap I just came out the pits, I think it was, and you can see they've stayed on another lap, so that's going to be a 2-lap delta. And yeah, I expected this. I expected them to go long. You may as well. It's the smartest decision you can do. And at this point, I stopped using battery, because now it's not about the gap we can build. It's about, let's save tyres. Let's make sure we've got battery, so when they do catch, we've got something to defend with. We do a 17.4 fastest lap, but we're not really pushing at this point. You can see we've easily undercut all of those cars, but we've got Otis and Mirko in between us. I felt quicker than them, so we had a little bit of a cushion to them, so it's not too bad. You can see Barry 1.7 ahead. He's also got 2-lap fresher, so yeah, this is going to be interesting. We're just going to not use the battery anymore. Mirko can pass if he likes, but again, we've got a 1-lap fresher tyre delta to him, and again, I feel quicker. You can see 8.5 tenths gap to him going into the straight, and we've also got more straight line speed than him, so he's going to have a tough time passing us, even if he wants to. So it's going to be nice. I think they're going to be really helpful to us during this race. A really nice cushion. And going through turn 1 and 2 now, taking it fairly easily, and you can see just taking these tyres as nicely as we can, trying to keep them just in a nice window. You get a lot of tyre wear at this track. I'm pretty sure at this point I bumped up the brake bias to 52 or something, just to, again, save as much as I could. We're not going to catch Barry, so we may as well focus fully on the car behind. And yeah, we're definitely not going to catch Barry here. He's got 2-lap fresher tyres, and he's also definitely a little bit quicker than us on this day, at least. So yeah, I think that is going to help Barry's gap, as we're just not going to use battery. We're going to keep this brake bias lifted up, and we're just going to take it easy, or as easy as we can, without getting overtaken by Mirko, because we know he's going to be saving ERS, and if it stays like this, I am pretty confident if we save tyres at the end of this race, we'll be able to defend from him fairly easily. So a few runners now pit that haven't pit already: Will Lewis, Nico, people like that. But yeah, we've got Max Whistle still in P1. He's in theory still in the fight for this race, but he's going to have to pit again. So head into turn 1 now, and you can see in the top left hand of your screen, yeah, that is not great for us, I'm not going to lie. That is a bit of an issue. Pretty much what happened is Otis took out Mirko, essentially just broke and slammed into the back of him, and that is going to make our life extremely difficult, because now we've got Jake Benham and Thomas behind us on 2-lap fresher tyres, so it's inevitable that they're going to catch us. We'd have to do the race for life for them to really not catch us, and they're not bad drivers. So yeah, yeah, we got lucky here. We got DRS off Max. That's going to be 2 straights of DRS. You can see the gap to Jake is 1.4. And the tough thing about this is we cannot use ERS to keep them behind, because if we use ERS and then they catch, we're completely screwed. So we're in a bit of a sticky situation for the time being. We're going to try and keep them behind as long as we can. We're trying to push, but also trying to save these tyres. So yeah, it's just not a great situation. We move on to lap 32 now, and Thomas is within a second window. He actually didn't get it this lap, but he did get it for this lap, and you can see he's 4/10 behind us going on to this straight. We do use a little bit of ERS, and that's not actually to defend from Thomas. My main worry here was since we're not going to have DRS for this straight or the next straight, Jake's going to possibly go for a move, but he didn't. If I was in Jake's position, that's what I would have been thinking. But then my engineers told me that Jake was more worried about Alvaro. So yeah, it looks okay for now. We've now got the DRS off Thomas, which is what I wanted. Obviously not for this straight. But again, my main worry now is Jake. You can see 4/10 back, 2 lap fresher tyres, and similar ERS to us. The only benefit we have is we've got more straight line speed. Again, this is why we sacrificed qualifying a little bit. We wanted that top end speed, and it looks to be coming into our hands fairly well now. So we've got 30% battery. We're going to use it all on this back straight because this is the most important straight. We're trying to stay in the Thomas's slipstream, not because we really want to go for a move, more because we want to defend from Jake. You can see Jake half a second back now. Looks like we're going to be safe for the time being, but there's still a few more opportunities Jake Benham is going to have to make a move on us. Coming out the first chicane now. He's gained a 10th on us, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make a move. And this is when the tyres are going to start to get much harder to drive compared to the cars around us. Again, a 2-lap tyre delta compared to cars around us. This is going to be when they really start sliding. We're all in Thomas's turbulent air as well, which is not going to help our case. We're trying to be extremely soft on these tyres. You can see Jake 4/10 behind us, going through dirt. We have a little bit of a slide there, and that you can see that is the tyre starting to fall off. He's now 3/10 behind us. He's really gaining a lot of grip compared to us now. Can we defend? We're using every last drop of battery we've got going into this last sector. He's now 2/10 behind us going into this last sector. We're going to half defend to make sure he doesn't send it. He does not send it through that hairpin. Now going into the final corner, we have another slide. Is he going to send it on us? No, he's not. It's looking like it's a done deal. It's sealed going up to the line now, and that's going to be P3 in the Mexican GP. That is a very lovely result. P4 to P3, we gained a place, so not a bad result at all. And yeah, that was definitely close to end. I was really worried about the tyres that whole race in that second stint. I knew how bad they would be. I remember doing esport test races with Barry and Lucas and the dev drivers during the esport season, and we would find at the end of the race the tyre drop off was huge if you had like a 2-lap delta or so. So I was really worried, and you can see in that last sector, that even last lap, we were sliding everywhere, and yeah, they died just at the right time, you could say. One more lap and Jake would have got us, I reckon. So yeah, we timed that to perfection. It was good that we were tyre saving. I think if we didn't tyre save, we would have been completely screwed. And again, that's why I did not fight Thomas, because I think if we did, we would not have had a chance against Jake or Alvaro, to be honest. So yeah, good race from our side. Back-to-back podiums. I think that makes us P4 in the stands, a little bit behind Jake. Not too sure how far behind. With 2 races to go, PSGL have shortened the calendar. Austria next up, which is my worst track on the game, which is lovely. And then Bahrain as the finale. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you were tuning in to the stream, I really do appreciate it. It was really nice to see all your support. I do stream these races every Wednesday, 7 PM UK on my Twitch. I also stream practice and watch parties and messing about, stuff like that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like and subscribe. Comment if you've got any questions. And yeah, if that's all, yeah, I think that's all. So, see you guys in the next one, and have a good day. Adios.